Okay, real quick, you guys. I'm gonna jump in and just say I messed up on this podcast. So we were live on Instagram recording this after the first day of Olympic competition for track and field. We just watched the men's 10K final. I was hyped. My boy Grant Fisher got third place in it. I was screaming at the computer, cheering him on. And then we jump in, and I was muted. It's whatever. So the first 10 minutes, I'm muted. There's an echo too. I'm sorry about that. Just like the first 10 minutes, bear with us as we recap the 10K and everything that's happening. So I'm gonna jump in about like three different times in this version of myself outside of the podcast, just to tell you of what kind of questions I was asking into that. All right, sound good? First off, we're just asking about the basic reactions to the 10K, and Spencer, the athlete special, yes, that Spencer Brown is going to recap for us and really talk about it. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, I'll speak on it first. Super exciting race, at least from my perspective. There was no commercial breaks. That was my first thought, which was incredible. Like probably the best 10K race I've ever watched because of just how fast it was as well too. They went out of the gates hot. The three Ethiopians kind of had a team plan clearly because they were switching off the lead. And I thought it was just I always like when it's an honest race, especially at the Olympics. I think that the top 13 athletes broke the previous Olympic record. And I'll shout out to Nico Young for just we were just saying off camera he was looked like he was hurting like 2 laps in, and I was worried for him, and he's literally stuck in there until the very end. But obviously super high for Grant Fisher. This has been a long time coming. I think we all knew that Grant Fisher has been like that American athlete who's been on the cusp of a medal for years. So just for him to finally get that, it's like pretty much makes his whole career, honestly. So it's cool
Yeah.
to see history be made, and like the weight like the weight's off the chest finally. So like he doesn't have to really he's proved it that he can be a medalist at the biggest stage in the world, the Olympics. So I'm just really happy for Fisher and just like, feeling good to be an American today.
No, for sure, man. I'm super excited for Grant. Had me up yelling at my TV, and it's like, what can he do in this 5K? You got the monkey off his back. He's gonna feel maybe a little bit more comfortable. He already got his medal, and like you were saying, Spencer, he has all of these records. He has like all the American distance records. They were naming them off during the broadcast. So to get that medal is the cherry on top that really solidifies his legacy. But shout out to Joshua Cheptegei. That dude is different. Like the whole race, he never led up until the end of the race. They were strategizing for him, and he couldn't be stopped. Two-time Olympic champion, a three-time world champion. Now we're gonna see him move on to the road. So it's been great seeing his dominance as well.
Hearing this question, I was really asking Spencer and Aaron because we had a question from the chat coming from the running statistician asking where does this really line up with Grant Fisher as he's chasing Galen Rupp's legacy of kind of being the greatest American distance runner of all time. If you guys remember in 2012, Galen Rupp finished second place behind Mo Farah in the 10,000 meter at the Olympics in London. Now for Galen Rupp to get this third place medal, he still has a 5K to run, so he could medal there as well. But we really talk about in this segment about what does it mean for Grant Fisher's legacy and really as he chases Galen Rupp to be the greatest American distance runner of all time.
Well, this to me literally was like a make or break for Grant Fisher's legacy. I mean, obviously he was going to have an incredible legacy no matter what, but getting a medal at the Olympic Games is so important for, your legacy, especially when you're trying to chase someone like Galen Rupp, who kind of is sort of like the best American distance runner from the previous generation. So Fisher getting this medal is so big for him because, as you guys have mentioned, he has all the American records. He's just run so many fast times, and he's been so close to medals for so long. And the longer you go without getting one, you start to get more pressure on yourself, and people start to wonder, well, hey, is he just going to be a guy who's like going to be fifth or sixth at the Olympics and Worlds? Is he not going to be a medal guy? Like, what is he really at the end? And people are so harsh. It's horrible to be like harsh like that. It's not, but like for him to actually pull it off and get that medal, and it was like tight too. And he almost pulled off silver, which is crazy too. But like honestly, just him getting a medal at the Olympics, you could just see after the race he was so happy, and they ran so fast. Like it was crazy. It was honestly incredible.
Yeah, you gotta think this era is crazy. Like the world record was broken within this era. I guess Galen Rupp did race Bekele at times, but I wouldn't say he didn't race him in his prime. Like Mo Farah was a tactician era, you know? It wasn't like a run really fast era. So it's really hard to medal here. So I think this puts him, he still has the 5K. Like what happens if he goes and gets that 5K? Does he surpass, or he's starting to get on that same level as Galen?
The pressure's off him now for the 5. Like he can just go out, feel a little bit looser for it, and maybe not be as concerned with his tactics, and maybe that'll help him potentially get another medal. And I don't think he cares if he gets another medal in the 5, but I personally thought the 10 was his best shot, and for him to pull it off is obviously great. Um, when I was watching the race with a few friends, and they were mentioning how like he's going to be really good in the marathon, which is crazy to think about. I think Grant Fisher's 27, so he still has at least a couple more years to crush it on the track. Like he'll get some more medals at this Olympics or the next couple world champs. But yeah, I mean, he hasn't even started his road running career yet. So I think when it's all said and done, Grant Fisher will probably be for a while. He'll be the GOAT American distance runner.
All right, so we've been shining a whole lot of light on Grant Fisher, but we got to talk about the champion of this race, and that is Joshua Cheptegei. The dude from Uganda is a beast when it comes to time, world record in the 5K and the 10K, but can he get it done at the Olympic stage? He did just that. The dude was in last place at the start. Then when Salman Barega went 800 into the race, went to the front, he really had to readjust his game plan, and he still got a victory. So we have to talk about Joshua Cheptegei and just all the greatness that he has and just their thoughts on it, really.
I kind of feel like we don't give this man his respect. You know what I mean? Just because he's in the era with like Jakob, and people talk a lot about him and things. And then you have like Joshua Cheptegei and Salman Barega. So there's a lot of really good distance runners, but this has to like put him on the same level or right there with like when we talked about Mo Farah and like Bekele, and now he's about to move on to the marathon. It's like, two-time 10K Olympic champion, 3-time world champion, world record holder. 5 years ago, if you told me someone was going to break Bekele's records in the 5K and the 10K, I would have been like, you're crazy. Those are some of the hardest world records that he has out there. And they really thought that this man was too old. They thought he was too old. The announcers were kind of like, being like, oh, I don't know, because he just wasn't in it. But he seems unstoppable.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cheptegei pulling off the win on the biggest stage of all time, like the Olympics, breaking the Olympic record, and he's the world record holder. Like that solidifies his legacy as the GOAT. And like, I feel like people were kind of thinking that Kip Limo could have a chance. He's the other Ugandan athlete, and Cheptegei kind of silenced the haters. And like, we're obviously hyped for Fisher, but like Cheptegei pulling off the win of that, and he won that thing. I wouldn't say easily, but it was over. It was a wrap with like 70 meters to go. Like he pulled away. He made a hard move, I think, at like 550 meters to go, and just literally went into an all-out sprint. And then like I think he just held the lead, right? Or he if I remember. But
once he took over, it was like, what could you do?
All right, this is my last one, promise, and then you won't have to see my face anymore, at least not in this form. Okay, Nico Young, an amazing race for this dude, finished 12th place. We had to talk about Nico. Being two black runners, we're from Southern California. I got to see him run when I was in high school and when I was in college and seeing him in high school, all that type of stuff. And now being at NAU and everything. 12th place, first global championship, first Olympic Games, an amazing performance by this kid. So we had to shout out Nico and just give him some love. All right, no more me. I'm unmuted after this. So let's get into it.
That dude got heart. Like Spencer said, it looked like early on he was hurting, but he kept fighting. He stayed in the race. I was always hoping, I was like, all right, because towards that last like mile, when they started like slowing down and running like 66s and 69s, I was like, okay, like, hey, if he could get in position, who knows what could happen, you know? But this is his first year running the 10K too, right?
I think, yeah. I think Nico Young proved a lot of people wrong in this Olympics because he was sort of people. I think we're looking at him like he was just happy to be there, just happy to make that 10K team, and he had such an incredible indoor track season, and he's had a long year too. We got to remember he's a college kid, and their season is just absolutely brutal. So for him to come back, and I think he struggled a little bit at NCAA's, and then he obviously still made the Olympics, but he hadn't really looked as good as he had previously been looking earlier in like the winter. So for him to come out and break 27, get 12th in the world is just it's a statement. So I think that 4 years from now, Nico Young, who knows, he could be fighting for a medal at the Olympics. I mean, he could be fighting for a medal at any of these world championships in the next couple of years. So yeah, and he was just so tough out there. Like I loved how he got dropped like 3 times and came back every time. It was impressive.
Mike Smith, man. Mike Smith, the GOAT right now, you know? I mean, Woody didn't do as great as he wanted. I feel like Woody is like a guy that is just, if he's feeling it on the day, anything can happen. But Mike Smith's athletes, there's a ton of them sprinkled all over the Olympic Games. And I think Nico is going to be one of those ones for a long time coming.
All right, I think you guys should be able to hear me now. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me because I think I was muted for a second. But before I want to get into, let's talk about the 15, and then we'll go into the mixed relay because we had that big world record and everything. But I think everybody really wants to talk about the 1500 meter. Let me see if they catch up to us.
Spicy.
If they can hear me right now.
You good?
All right, we good. The 1500 meter, bruh, amazing. The rivalry has been building for such a long time, and we finally get to see them actually race in the biggest stage. Josh Kerr looked amazing on that last 300 meters, just walking everyone down. Jacob was basically toying with people. Cole Hawker got a little bit of boxed in, but honestly, he looked comfortable to me. What were your guys' what did you guys see from the 1500 meter? What are your guys' thoughts on the rivalry? And then we have people are rooting for Josh Kerr. People inside of the race are rooting for Josh Kerr reportedly. That's what we're hearing about. So like from Jacob's team, his own country. So it's all like,
that's crazy.
What are our thoughts on the first round of men's 1500? So we'll start with you, Spencer.
Yeah, I thought I have a couple thoughts for sure. I think the question of Josh Kerr has been answered because he hasn't raced in a little while. He hasn't raced since that fall he took a couple weeks ago in the British Champs, but he looked amazing. He looks like the guy to beat, to be honest. Just how easily he was able to just switch gears with 300 to go and just kind of just drop everyone. And I think that he had a couple of gears left. So I think Josh Kerr looks good, and Jakob looks great as well. I think Jakob was trying to show less cards than anyone. Like he was really just trying to chill and like you know how Jakob like at the start line, he didn't even like get into start position. He jogged the first 50 meters. He always does these little mind games, and I think he's just trying to stay out of trouble. But Jakob had a low key first round. Jakob will be there. So between Josh and Jakob, I'm just all I want is like nobody fall in the semis. Just make it through to the finals. Just like give us that race. So I'm hoping that they both just get through cleanly. I thought Cole Hawker looked really good. I think that his semi was, he had to work kind of hard in there. I was a little bit surprised with Yard Nagus. I think that he kind of was in a little bit of he kind of struggled to make it through. He still made it through, and it doesn't really matter how you look through these rounds. We've learned so many times that some of the best guys will will barely make it into the next round, but then they'll get a medal. So yeah, I think it's just going to be an incredible battle between Josh and Jakob. We can talk about predictions. I want to hear a little bit what Aaron has to say on it, but I think that the rounds were good. And I guess, yeah, also Hobbs Kessler looked great. So good to have the Americans all make it through. And on to the semis.
The 15s happened really early on the West Coast time. I don't know. So I didn't really see them live. So the first thing I saw was a Citius Mag post about Narv asking Josh Kerr to beat his countryman. And I'm like,
That's wild.
yo, like, and then they also tagged on, you know, the abuse allegations, and there's some family, drama,
Ties.
family ties, you know. So that's the first thing I saw. And then I see the highlights of Jakob coming from behind, Josh Kerr winning, Cole qualifying. And to me, I just think that we're gonna kind of see a different Jakob this year. I don't know. I just think he's a dad now, and on top of that, I don't think it's a good idea to be for Narv to be saying stuff like that are tied to like that's tied to family. Like that's a lot of fuel you're adding to this man's fire. He already got fuel now that he has a kid that he's running for and stuff too. But I didn't. I'm not a fan of him starting far behind like that. Like to me, that I just feel like that's like risky because you have to. Maybe you're not in trouble the first couple of laps, but at some point you got to run through a bunch of people, and like something could happen. So that kind of was like but he was fine. Um, I do think that Cole Hawker has a shot to do something. I do think there's a chance that like it just depends. I could see a race where Jakob runs like he ran 3:28. He has the Olympic record. He ran 3:28 last time in 2021. Can he's coming on strong right now. He was hurt earlier in the season, so maybe he's not a little as run down. I don't know. Maybe his peaking's a little bit better because he likes to run hard all the time. I don't know. That's all guessing. But if he runs 3:27, 3:26 in the final, that's gonna be really really hard to beat. But I still think if it's around 3:28, 29, that Cole has a shot to like maybe break up, Josh and them. I think he has a shot for sure. I think he's the one that's shown the least amount of cards in my opinion. Cause like, he didn't really race that much this year. He's been injured a lot in his career and now he's healthy. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of wondering how fast can he go?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to really see. But Spencer, you wanted to get some picks, and we kind of shared already on previous podcasts who we feel is going to win the whole thing. But Spencer,
I don't
just
even
for
know who
both
I
of
think's
y'all,
gonna
like,
win.
where are our heads at? Has anything changed after this first round? Are you thinking like of just your picks of who's going to win, get second, third? Has anything changed after this first round?
I mean, I think that Josh Kerr is going to win. I'm extremely confident that he's going to win. I know that, and obviously I have some bias. I've personally know him, but there's no one I know more than Josh that has. I guess what I'm trying to say is Josh has the best mental ability that of anyone in the world probably, and as the pressure becomes more and more and more, it literally only helps him.
Hmm.
And now he's just so strong. He's so strong. And, we saw he beat Jakob from the front with 600 to go at pre a couple months ago. I know Jakob is fitter now, but I just think that if Jakob has to lead the race, Josh will outkick him. And I think even Josh could potentially take it with 600 to go and beat him, honestly. But so this is my hot take, I guess, of the day, which Aaron basically was kind of saying it, but I think my top three is going to go Josh Kerr wins it. Second place is going to be Cole Hawker,
Wow.
and Jakob's going to get third because what's going to happen is at 70 meters to go, Josh is going to break Jakob, and Jakob's going to know he's lost, and he's going to phone it in. And at 20 meters to go, Hawker's going to dig him down and lean him on the line.
Wow, you're saying this man, Josh Kerr, is going to break this dude's spirit.
That's what he's done, though. He's done that multiple times, to be honest, though.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like, Jakob's also got the 5K. Like,
Yeah,
you may as well just write his name in for the gold medal on the 5K. I don't think anyone's beating him in that. But, like, this is Josh. Josh Kerr wants to be everyone wants to be the best, but Josh wants to claim this 15. Like, Josh created the rivalry between Josh and Jakob. Like, Jakob didn't want anything to do with it. And, like, Josh is always, I feel like, yeah, like the best athletes, they try to like almost manifest a way to dislike the other athlete. I think that they have a tremendous amount of respect for each other. And I think that Josh and Jakob are so similar, and that's what makes the rivalry so great. But yeah, I think that, I don't know. I just don't see Josh losing it, but this is the Olympics. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I like that top three. I feel like that could be the top three. But I don't know. I'm not 100% sure that Josh is gonna win. Like I'm not sure.
It's because
I
of the
like
song, Spencer. That's what he said. It's because of the song got dropped, and
when he
that
started
kind of
dropping bars, I'm just thinking about stuff outside of the track. He had a kid, he rapping with his homies, you mentioning his family, like you know what I'm saying? You throwing a lot of fuel on this man fire. And for me, like I always say this. I always say this. I've been true to this. I was the biggest Jakob hater for the longest time. I was a hater. You know, I interviewed him, talked to him a little more, and I was like, you know what, this guy's kind of funny. Like I kind of get his steez. I get what he's trying to do here. You know, so I'm a huge hater. But as this year has gone on, I'm like, is he gonna get him? You know, basically a third time. You know, is y'all gonna let this happen again? And the main reason I was kind of a hater on him was because I felt like people were giving it to him too early when he was like 20 years old. They were
yeah,
like, this
crowning
guy is the
him.
GOAT, da da da. And I was like, wait. Like, there's all these guys that are just as fast as him. Like, Cole Hawker is like the same age as him, and he ran 3:30, you know, out of college. Like, I don't know why are people just saying this is him. So I think for this Olympics for Jakob is very crucial, as it is for Kerr, because if he gets to the Olympic gold medal, it's different. So like Jakob already has one in the 15. I don't remember what place he got in the 5K at Tokyo, but
He didn't do the 5K, but
okay, but he's done
yeah,
it at like Worlds and stuff.
yeah,
But
he's won the
Yeah, it's back
5K
to
back
back.
to back worlds. Yeah,
yeah. If you win the 15 and the 5K at the Olympics, that puts you in a rare air. That
Yeah,
really does. That's
El
some Hisham
Garouge. Yeah,
El Garouge stuff. So
yeah,
I'm like, this is a huge. Like you said, write him in for the 5K. I mean, silver and
yeah.
gold would be great, right? Obviously, but like it's different when you win both, and that's why I'm like, man, this is a huge opportunity for him. That's why I think it's like a coin flip for me on who's gonna win between them two.
but before we move on, I want to talk about the mixed relay before we get out of here and some other stuff. But like Hobbs Kessler, and we got talks about him in here. Where do you think? Do you think Hobbs can factor into this final? He's running just like the U.S. Olympic trials, just right on somebody's shoulder. I presume he's going to do that in the semi too. If this race goes slow, he has 143 speed. I don't know if it will go slow at all, but if he's in the right position, shoot, 143 speed may get you somewhere for a kid like Hobbs Kessler.
Yeah, I think that's a great question about Hobbs Kessler. I First of all, though, I'm just gonna say this race, it's not gonna go slow in the final. It will win in no slower than 328. I think honestly, it's gonna win in 327 low, maybe 326 high.
Crazy. I
327.
can see that.
I genuinely just don't see it being slower. Maybe I'm gonna. I mean, again, I could be wrong, but I just really think it's gonna not be slower than 327. But I do think that regardless, Hobbs Kessler might be a bigger dark horse than Nagoose or Hawker because Kessler kind of had unbelievable races after his 15 at the
Yeah.
trials where he looked even better in the 8 than he did in the 15. So I think that elevated his confidence to another level. He's also young too. Like these young guys, like they can just like get even better over another month period of time. Like literally, like he might just be a freak that like in a
He
good
got
way.
the
I'm
vid
saying
though.
like he just literally just is like if he's there with like 200 to go, he might be like, okay, I'm just gonna get a medal, fine. So yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if Kessler got a medal, but I don't know if he goes for the bronze and a couple people tie up in the end, he could pull it off. I don't think that that's crazy to say.
Yeah.
That boy ran 334 at like 17 years old. I can't
Yeah,
ever. That dude is different. That dude is straight different. And I honestly though, I look at him as like as Cole Hawker going into that Olympics in Tokyo. We were like super hyped. Like I see him like getting in the top 5 to 6. Um, I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if he has like you were talking about like the strength.
Yeah.
I know he has that speed, but does he have the strength to after rounds go run three? I agree with you. I feel like it's like 3:28 is the average time I think of. I don't think they're gonna run 3:29. I think they're gonna definitely run 3:28 or faster. So it's like, can he do that? I don't know. I don't know. But I think he could definitely run like 3:30, you
Yeah.
know?
We'll see. And then we're gonna have to definitely talk about the repchage. Is that how you say it? The repchage
The
round.
repertoire. I've
Rep,
not. Yeah.
whatever it's called. But like Ollie Hoare and Mario Garcia Romo are in that. Like some people that could
Oh,
be
really?
factor in. But we're not gonna talk about that right now because we'd just be talking about the 15 for about a whole hour. I want to get to the mixed relay, bro. Mixed relay, USA. You already know we do our thing. Like once we put the right people together, like we gonna do our thing when it comes to a 4x4. 307. Vernon Norwood led it off with a 44.47. Shamir Little with a 49.32. Bryce Deadman with a 44.17, and then Kalen Brown with a 49.45. A great race, amazing. Congratulations to them. Like world record, first round. They're gonna kill it next round. But we gotta go to this big conversation because there's always a but to it. Quincy Wilson, bro, the 16-year-old, he ain't in it. Like I'm super happy for those dudes. Everybody's on there, especially Shamir Little being on that team because she ran so great at the trials and wasn't able to get in both events. But like no Quincy Wilson. It kind of sucks. I don't know if we're gonna see Quincy Wilson at all after these four just dominating the mixed relay. Probably gonna run the same team again. But I know we ain't really 400 runners, but someone as Spencer that may understand like the entertainment side of it and the story side of it you being on YouTube for so long, and then Aaron as well. Just like no Quincy Wilson in the 4x4 mixed relay. Do you guys feel like he should have been on this team? Are you guys disappointed? Are you guys just happy for the world record? Like, what was the whole feeling about this mixed relay situation?
I mean, so I'm not too familiar with how does it work. Will Quincy Wilson, will he definitely not be in the final now? Could they potentially swap him in or no?
No, they could swap him in. Yeah, they could swap him into the final.
But I guess what you're saying is why would they if they literally just broke the world record?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. I think I would have liked to see him in this prelim because the team was so strong anyway that I think that they would have made it through and like you got to be giving the young guys the experience because he's going to be a star at the next Olympics probably and all the world champs to come. So I would have liked to see him, a general rule of thumb, our college coach at nationals would typically run the younger guy in the DMR over like the 5th year because he was like, I need the younger guy to get the experience because he's going to be here longer. So I think that you know, it wasn't the wrong decision because they got the world record.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to break the world record again, regardless of who's on the team in the final for sure. But I also, yeah, I was also wondering. I noticed that the order went male, female, male, female um, as opposed to it seems like in the past they'd go male, female, female, male. Do you know if there's like they have to go that order or if they've realized that that's the most optimal order to have?
I think they have to go that order now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure if they realized it was the most optimal, but I think after was it the first Olympics where they implemented and they're kind of able just to do anything. After that, they like just made it you have to go this certain order with
Okay.
everything. So I don't know if it's most optimal though. I liked seeing when that clip of Michael Cherry passing that girl from Poland like always goes viral. I thought that was dope. Like to be honest,
Yeah.
like
I thought it was cooler when it was like you don't tell people what your team's gonna be.
yeah.
And then it's just like some people just say, screw it, we're gonna go male, male, female, female, and then just try to run away. Like I think that's awesome.
I thought that would be a cool trick. But Aaron, what do you think? Quincy Wilson, no 4x4, just whole mixed relay.
Dang.
All thing. Coach Joe Lee. This comes from Ray's take. So he sent out a text. He got a text from Joe Lee saying Quincy ain't injured too. I'll throw that in there. I seen that on Twitter. So just like yeah, bro, no Quincy. We may not see him in I don't know how if he doesn't run this mixed relay final. I don't know why he would run the 4x4 prelim either. Honestly, well, he could, but it may not.
Maybe he could get on the prelim for the 4x4, the male 4x4, right? I mean,
He
because
could,
unless
yeah.
Vernon will probably run again, Michael Norman, well, Bryce Deadman,
Well, I think it may
Quincy.
come down to like if Chris Bailey, Michael Norman,
Oh,
and
Chris.
Quincy Hall all make it to the final, then that changes things. Like you may want to rest Michael for one of those rounds or rest Quincy for one of those rounds. So he may end up being in there for the 400-meter prelim. But I thought the mixed relay was like a for sure thing that we could see him. So we still could see him in the 4x4 prelim. I would
He's
think.
the alternate. They
Yeah.
basically said, "Hey, bro, like if somebody can't run or something, that's when you're gonna get an opportunity. Like you're the youngest one here. You're gonna be at. We just want you to experience what it's like being at the Olympics. That's what it feels.
But that's kind of.
That's what it feels
But
like.
you want that dude to run though. Like you know how
Yeah.
I
much
want him to
the
run for
16
You're not
year
sure.
really
old.
you're not an Olympian in my opinion unless you've run.
Dang,
That's a
hold
hot
on.
take. That's a
Golly.
hot take.
Jeez. Whoa. Hey, so hopefully they line up Quincy Wilson, bro.
Let him
Hopefully they let
run.
this dude run. Like, golly.
Just toss him in the men's 4x4 prelim, I say.
Yeah.
Put him on the third leg. The US is going to make that final unless they drop the stick, but just let him run.
Well, maybe they were worried because if he was in, it would have been because Bryce Deadman
But
handed
he
it off
beat
to
Bryce
Caleb.
Deadman. That's what we're not talking about. He beat Bryce Deadman
Dang,
at the Grant
okay,
all the
you
way
on his
meet.
head.
He
That's
did.
true.
That's just facts.
I think they're going to put him in the final of the mixed because they want him to get a gold. I think they'll put him in the mixed final.
But maybe they were afraid to have a 16-year-old handing it off to a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Because it would.
What's gonna happen?
Oh,
I don't know. Because
what do you mean?
what's her name? Kayla from Arkansas.
Yeah,
She's only a
consent.
freshman.
Yeah.
They ageism, bro.
Shoot. Dang, what you claiming? You've been in big claims on USATF right now, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But hey, the women's 5,000, amazing races. We're about to have 3 of the fastest 5,000 meter runners ever for the women's side in this race, in Faith Kipyegon, Gudolf Segay, and Patrice Chebet. And then also you got Safan and Son in there, Elise Cranny, and like the list can really go on for the women's 5,000 meter. Do you guys have favorites for this race at all? Like, I don't mean after watching the semifinals for it, like I'm all like, I don't know who could possibly be the favorite for this race.
I mean, I feel like Faith Kipyegon is the favorite.
Really, not Gudolf after she runs 14 flat.
She does run 14 flat and like 350. But dang, I mean, it's kind of like similar to the men's 15 to Giants, but in the 5K. But like up front, it's gonna be between Faith, Gudolf, and Stefan, right? Like, I don't really see anybody else in that, but I don't see Gudolf out kicking Faith Kipyegon, bro. When it comes down to it,
Yeah. I feel you, Spencer.
Yeah, I think Gudolf will win. Actually, to be honest, I think that
Really,
because I think Kipyegon is obviously a beast in the 15, but Gudolf is she world record holder?
yeah, world record.
yeah, she ran 14 flat.
Yeah, I mean, and I think I could see Safan not medaling. I feel like she hasn't been quite the same for the last couple of years. She's still amazing, but there's other athletes out there that could do it. So I think it's pretty. I mean, it's gonna just be the women's 5 is like mind blowing how fast it is. I don't even really understand how it can be that fast. So they're gonna run crazy fast. I'm just hoping one of the Americans can do something pretty cool. Maybe get like break the American record, run under like 14:20 would be awesome. I hope it's a fast final. But yeah, I think Kipyegon and Gudolf battle for the win, and there could be other athletes in there as well up front. But I think it's going to be a. I think all of the names got through to the final today. You know, I think nothing crazy. I think everything kind of went as expected. So that's sort of what my thoughts are on the women's 15 or women's 5.
Spencer, would you ever want to try Safana San's triple in 5,000 10,000, and then marathon within within a week.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a isn't wait
I don't
hold on.
even
Isn't that a YouTube video? Like, let's be honest here. That's really
A
honestly,
challenge.
that's a
listen.
YouTube challenge.
Listen, that is. I would do it if I didn't have to do the marathon. The marathon is like when it stops being fun. It's like, oh, haha, 5K, 10K double. But then it's like, yeah, go run a marathon. It's like, I don't want to get injured. Like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather
Yeah.
just run a mile with Crocs or like with a banana suit on and just do that.
You-
But
You'd rather
I
run
don't
a 5K in Crocs than do what Stefanison's doing.
know, 100%. I don't want to run a marathon.
Just not even people be running marathons in Crocs though too. Like would you rather do
She's
a
gonna be
marathon?
running hard, bro.
That's true. She could be running hard. She's running hard.
Yeah, she's gonna be ripping. I mean, she's known for these crazy triples. She did one. She's done it a few times at this point, but I don't even. I, it's one of those things that I just can't comprehend
Yeah.
because I would never even consider being able to do that. I guess Galen Rupp did the 10K marathon double, but the five has 2 rounds, and then the 10 that's 4 races. But the marathon is so different that maybe you don't need to have fresh legs for it. You know, I don't know.
Honestly, I think after Stefanis retires, she's gonna keep on running, but she'll just be a running YouTuber. Like I think you're gonna have a competition, Spencer, in like in like 3 years, bro. She's gonna be doing. I'm gonna run a marathon for 7 days straight at like all that 7 minute pace. I'm like, yeah, I'll leave.
That'd be smart. I want to do a video where I go to like an all comers meet and run every single track race, but
Ooh,
I think it'd be kind of fun. But
Hey, that'll be
I
you
don't
that'll be
know.
might
good
pull
video.
something in that 100, man. Well, the
Yeah,
100 will be first probably. So
Not 100,
yeah.
like third, something like that. All
The
right,
100
so
will be like my strides for the 800 for later on. It's smart.
pretty much. Last thing, then we'll get out of here. The women's 800 meter. I don't think y'all saw all of it, but saw some great racing overall. Nia Akins ran great next to Keely and Ali. How am I forgetting? Ali, why am I forgetting Ali's last
Wilson.
name? Ali
Wilson,
Wilson. Ali Wilson, only American that didn't make it through. Her race was fast though, and just wasn't really in position. Juliet Whitaker barely gets through in that qualifying time as well, but Ali's still gonna have that opportunity in the repage or whatever around you call it. Adele Tracy was also surprised that didn't make it through, but besides that, all the pretty much big names got through to the next round. I was seeing when Nia and Keely were running, I'm all like, I think Nia can medal, but I don't know if she can beat Keely. Like, I really don't. That's a hard ask. That's a really hard ask because Keely looked super good, but I think Nia looks just as good as Mary Mora, Jimma Ricky, and Phoebe Mills as well. I think she looks just as good as all of those women.
yeah. I think big shout out to Nia. I was teammates with her for a year as well, so I'm always going to be a huge Nia fan. And you know, she's obviously teammates with Josh Kerr,
Yeah.
and Danny Mackey just knows how to peak his athletes at the right time. So I'll go out on a limb, put a silver medal around her neck. I think she's going to do it. I think exactly what you said. I was having the same thoughts in that prelim. She looks so good. I don't know if she can beat Keely, and I feel like Keely hasn't she gotten the silver 3 times in a row? Like she's got to
Yeah.
get the gold this year. I feel like she's going to be on a mission. Um, so and then yeah, like you said, all the big names made it through to the next round. I'm excited to just kind of go through the process of this repertoire round or whatever it's called. Because maybe the American Ali Wilson will make it through
Yeah.
um, on that. But yeah, it was. I'm really excited for the women's eight. Like the big names look good, and yeah, I think we could see in the final potentially like the announcers were saying they were thinking 153 in the final. That would
No.
be.
Wait, they were
I
saying
don't
that?
think so.
Wait, that's wait, hold on,
They were
bro.
like I wouldn't. They said 154 in the final. I wouldn't be surprised if it dipped under to 153. I don't think
I'd be
we're going to see
surprised if it was
153.
154. I'd be surprised if it was 154 to be honest.
I
Like,
yeah, I mean 3 rounds too. I think I could see the winner maybe 154 high, but It's gonna be fast. It's gonna be good. Anything can happen. It's the 800. That's like an event where some random person that we've never heard of could win the thing.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed watching these heats. I feel like a lot of the faster races were going out at 57. I feel like in the final, we're going to see like a 56.
Hmm.
We're going to see like a 56 low, and then who could come back under 60? You know? That's what I feel like it's gonna take. And I agree as well. I think Nia looks really, really relaxed. Gemma Rinky, I think she looks super strong. And I feel like she was really, really good, like right before Keely came onto the scene. But I think she kept on getting injured and stuff like that. So I kind of see Keely and her getting a medal and then someone breaking that up. Like, and that could be Nia. But I also don't want to sleep on Mary Mora. Like she was the world champion last year, and she has like the speed to go out hard. And I felt like people slept on her last year,
Yeah.
and she won. And then that girl, I don't know, Tsige, how you say her last name,
Pegula.
Joshua? I didn't really know much about her, but she looked really good too, from Ethiopia. So like, I feel like it's gonna be between about like 5 people up there. I don't know if it's Gil of Phoebe's time yet,
Yeah, I
but
don't I don't
I
know. Seeing Phoebe run, I was like, she looked 19. Like how she not like I feel like that was low key insult, but like I didn't mean to be an insult at all. But like she looked like a younger running. She didn't seem super
yeah.
comfortable, I feel like running that race.
You know who also looked good? Natalia Gold. She looked good,
Latoya.
and Natoya Gold, and she was in that race at London when Keely ran really fast
Yeah, yeah.
recently.
Hmm.
So I'm like, oh, what can she do? But again, I do think we're gonna get a medal. I think Nia's gonna get a medal. What is it gonna be though? I'm not sure, but we're gonna have one.
All right. Lastly, before we get out of here, Sha'Carri Richardson. Sharika Jackson's out. She ran an amazing race. Is she gonna complete? Oh, you didn't know this, Spencer? Or
No,
no, no, yeah, yeah, bro. She
she
she she dropped out of the 100. She's just gonna run the 200.
she
So
oh she didn't she
yeah,
didn't
she
like
still
not make it. She just DNS'd.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She well, someone replaced her.
Okay.
Someone replaced
Okay.
her. So she had someone else to replace her. But yeah, Sha'Carri Richardson. Did she was she the top? Let me make sure. Wait, if she was
No,
the
I think
top,
it was Talu.
Talu.
I saw Sha'Carri's race though. I was able to watch it this morning. She looked really good. She shut it. She ran what like 10-9-4 and shut it down. She shut it down pretty early and like I'm looking forward to. I think she can win again.
Yeah, I agree. I think Shelly looked really good too in that heat, and same with Talu. So it's like Talu is someone she's like always in it, but I don't know if she has any global medals yet. But Sharika not racing definitely opens the door for someone to get a medal that hasn't. Melissa Jefferson looked good too,
Yeah,
and TT. So all of our peeps made it through.
yeah,
Yeah. I personally I'm excited to continue to, you know, sort of watch the women's 100 as it goes through the rest of the Olympics because I don't know if you guys saw Sprint on Netflix, but I did, and it like I'll admit I don't have much of an understanding of sprinting, but after watching that doc, I have so much more respect for it, and I just think it's really cool. It's like a completely different sport than distance, so I kind of know some of the names more, and like I'm just really excited to just sort of see what happens, and it's so intense. Sprint, like you have to be so warmed up for your races, and it's just totally different than distance. So I'm obviously going to root for Sha'Carri, but there's so many athletes who are kind of in it, like the St. Lucia athlete Julian Alfred. I
yeah.
think
Yeah,
I think she could do it. She looks really good right now. Um, she's trying to be the first St. Lucian athlete ever to medal in the 100. I think maybe even medal at all in the Olympics. So there's like a bunch of cool storylines to follow, and like obviously with Shelly Ann Fraser Price, like Is this her 5th Olympics?
Yeah, 5th Olympics. Crazy.
That's
Crazy.
And I think she's gonna medal after running a 10.92 like first round. She hasn't been looking super good this year, and she admitted it hasn't been a super smooth year. 10.92, like shoot, like she's in shape. She's ready to go. But like at the end of the day, last year they won it in 10.65, so it's going to be an extremely fast race. A 10.92 probably won't even put you on the podium when it comes to the final. So honestly, it's going to be a bigger tell in that semifinal. Ultimately, see like who can win this 100-meter dash tomorrow. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we get out of here? Any other hot takes you got, Spencer or Aaron, before we get on to day 2, bro? The Olympics track and field. The Olympics officially started for me today. After I was screaming at my laptop with Grant Fisher, bro, like I'm fully engaged, rooting for USA now.
It was just refreshing to see people in the stands too. Like
it looked like it was pretty packed there. At the end of the day, I've been watching, this Olympics, the first week or so of it, and it's pretty good. I've been getting into swimming a little bit, getting into some of the volleyball stuff, gymnastics. But at the end of the day, nothing is track and field, and it's just nice for it to finally be starting. We're all so biased because we love track, but track is the premier event of the Olympics. I don't care what people want to say. Gymnastics is pretty cool. I think that the general public likes that even more than track, but I think track is the best Olympic event out there, and it's just great to be back.
No, absolutely. Appreciate you, Spencer, for coming through, join us for our Two Black Runners and Friends live podcast over this next week, really just covering Olympic Games, bro. Hey, congratulations, bro, on your move you're in Colorado. Where are you in Colorado?
Yep, Boulder, Colorado.
Boulder, congratulations on your move, bro, and just everything that you're doing with the YouTube channel, bro. We keeping up for sure. But yeah, man. Anything else, Aaron, you want to say before we get out of here?
No, just tap in with us tomorrow. Tomorrow we got the women's 100 final. What else we got, Joshua? That's big.
Oh shoot, I gotta pull up the thing, bro. Come on, man, you put me on the spot. We got the women's 100
we got
final,
the 4x4
mixed relay final, men's shot put final, deck final, women's triple jump. But it's the women's 100. That's what we're gonna be. We're gonna spend 30 minutes talking to Will Collins, Fast University, talking about the women's 100-meter final and like really dissecting that thing from the start, the finish, everything. So it's gonna be hype. Yeah, appreciate you, bro.